Ben Thaler then is tonight's match referee. Wigan in their usual cherry and white, and Wakefield in their changed jerseys of dark blue and yellow. And it's going to be Scott Griggs who's going to get this match in the Super 8s underway. Wakefield have won 2 of their 3 in Super League against Holloway and Huddersfield away last week. They lost to St Helens at home. Here they are on their travels again, and Chris Chester telling me that they are absolutely determined to make it to 5th spot in the Super League at the end of this. Here they concede the first penalty of the match after just 10 seconds. A bit of a robust tackle, and the legs of Romain Navarrete going up into the air.
Well, 3 forwards for Wakefield in. First up in that tackle, Romain Navarrete and Ben Flower set a solid platform for Wigan against St Helens last week, but Craig Hubie and the rest of the forward pack from Wakefield have spoken about it during the week. We have to control the go forward of this Wigan side.
Here goes John Bateman, had a fine game last week. There's Sean Wayne, the coach of the Wigan Warriors. Wonder if he will end his time here with a place in the grand final on October the 13th. We'll know in about 4 weeks' time. The grand final itself 5 weeks on Saturday. Here now is Joe Greenwood, man of the match last week against his former club. Had a fantastic match, did Joe Greenwood. And looks a quality signing. It's now Powell at dummy half, goes to the right-hand side, and he finds O'Loughlin, another warrior amongst the warriors, the Wigan captain. Powell at dummy half here, gets it away to Luluai. Luluai back to Williams. Williams finds Tompkins. Tompkins from wide, and Gildart leaps into the corner and gets the first Wigan try after just 1 minute and 23 seconds. That's the impression from up here. But Ben Thaler hands it upstairs to Phil Bentham, the video referee for tonight, and the only thing to check is the touchline and whether he grounded it properly, Stuart.
It is touches on this side. Just wants to make sure. Certainly looked like he was well away from the touchline. Doesn't want to touch anything. The post pads went out, the corner flags went out of it for a while ago. He's in possession of it, and it's grounded. This will be confirmed.
A quick look then for Phil Bentham. That will do, that will confirm it. And not the start that Wakefield wanted, but the start that Wigan wanted. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, Oliver Gildart. 2017 Young Player of the Year, gets his 12th try of 2018. And Wigan off to a flyer.
Well, given a penalty rate in the very first tackle of the game, you want to restrict those metres and to just give the opposition that field position. Wigan didn't really have to work hard to get down here. And it's good attacking shape. The ball goes across Dan Sargentson, and what a finish from Oliver Gildart. I thought he was very good last week when they played against Saints. Made over 200 metres carrying the ball. Look at that.
Even more impressive for Oliver Gildart, playing out of position. As we've mentioned last week, by virtue of the number 4 on his back, he's a centre by trade. Father Ian Gildart played for both Wigan and Wakefield Trinity. I know he's here, bumped into him on my way up to the gantry, so a proud man Father Ian will be, and that's a magnificent start for Oliver Gildart and Wigan Warriors.
Well, he got his first try in 10 matches last week against St Helens, and Tompkins, returning to the side, takes the kick and misses. 4-0 Wigan.
Well, so much of the credit must go down to Thomas Luluai. Just watch his movements here, his action. He runs back towards the post with his body language there. It holds up the Wakefield defenders for about a split second, and it provided just enough space for Gildart to dive in the corner. There's a natural tendency to run towards the sideline when you're attacking. It's what all kids do, isn't it? He resists that natural temptation and goes back towards the goalpost to hold up the defenders. Brilliant play.
Great start for Gildart then. He's playing on the wing for the very first time in 2018, last week and this. And just the start that they wanted. No question about that. As Navarrete this time is tackled lawfully. And here comes O'Loughlin. Crowther in there very quickly. O'Loughlin slips the pass though. Then Flower gets it away. This is Williams. No look pass here. And that's Joe Greenwood. They're watching him very closely, as they should do, Wakefield. And here is another penalty that goes against Wakefield in the opening 3.5 minutes of this match. They can't keep doing this.
Well, Wakefield just trying to make the play of the ball sloppy, the ruck slow. As I said, that's the second penalty that they give to Wigan down near their own, near Wigan's try line. Chris Chester will not be happy with that again. It's just too easy, straight over the halfway line on tackle 1.
And Thaler, the referee, says he wants the ruck clearing quicker, and he's calling for movement again. Reece Lynn, the last man off the grounded player. There's Powell. Here goes Flower once again. It's a solid enough run. He took 2 players with him. Batchelor was one of them. Now Powell at dummy half again. Centre field for Wigan. They go to the right-hand side with O'Loughlin. There's Tompkins, wide this time to Tom Davis. Tom Johnston is the first man to him. And that's good defence from Wakefield. And he loses the ball. He loses the ball. There's Davis on the floor.
You're right, Eddie. I think that's an interesting battle. Almost if Wayne Bennett gets up early enough in Brisbane to watch this game, there's a possible England trial here between Tom Davis and Tom Johnstone, who tackles him here and almost pushes him over the side. They get the ball back. 2 really talented players, exciting speedsters, and I'm sure they'll score tonight.
Well, that's why Wakefield have this head and feed, and there is Tom Johnstone. He is second on the try-scoring charts this season with 20. Only St Helens fullback Ben Barber has got more. He leads the race to be top try-scorer 2018. And Bill Tupou here, 40th consecutive appearance for Wakefield tonight. Plays the ball to Tyler Randall. They go to the left-hand side and find Craig Hubie. Still inside their own half, though, by some 12 metres. 2 tackles gone. Solid Wigan defence. That sort of defence was on show throughout the game at St Helens last week. Arona gets to his feet. Plays the ball to Randall. O'Loughlin was into him very, very quickly. And that was Jordan Crowther at dummy half. Here comes Matty Ashurst into the former St Helens colleague, Joe Greenwood. Play the ball here to Randall. And off the boot of Ryan Hampshire, this goes high into the grey sky. And Tompkins is underneath it. And he's down very quickly.
Every play the ball that Wakefield had then, they're always looking at what's going on their left. Wigan's right-hand side. I think Tyler Randall has got a job to really direct his players on those short side plays. Would take from Tompkins, but this is where they've got to be good. This is where they've got to be disciplined. The last 2 occasions they've been down here, they give penalties away. Made it really easy for Wigan just to buy those easy meters with simple carries like that from Romain Navarrete.
Yes, Navarrete going down on tackle number 4, but decent set this defensively from Wakefield so far, and Flower was almost through. He was clawed to the ground by Jordan Crowther. Yeah, 5 tackles gone, 37 metres made. Good work by Wakefield. The kick, though, here from Luluai in behind the player. Scott Griggs after it, the fullback, and gets it. 2 tries against Huddersfield last week in his first appearance since the 6th of May for Scott Griggs.
Had to be patient, Scott Griggs, after those shoulder complications. As you said, he came back in against his old side, Huddersfield. Really lifted the side. Such a smart player.
Here he is at dummy half, and he gets the pass away. This is Bill Tupou once more.
He would have featured heavily on Wigan's tip sheet, I'm sure. One of the standouts in Super League this year, Bill Tupou.
Dinero Rona now. Luluai with the tackle. Away goes Ashurst. Wakefield penned inside their own half here. That's good hounding defence by Wigan. But they get the penalty. Do Wakefield. Bit of messing around on the floor by Romain Navarrete.
Well, really like Matty Ashurst. I think he's been a good performer over the years. Played his junior rugby down the road at Wigan St Pat's. Good player, very consistent. We'll be looking for a big game here, and Wakefield have got enough craft to score some try. They can conjure something up with the likes of Jacob Miller and Ryan Hampshire. They just need to be down here, I feel.
The likes of Fifita out of the side and Anthony England, they've lost a bit of size. Chris Chester concedes that. Then now will play with a little bit more width, perhaps. That's what they did against Huddersfield last week. They were trailing in that match as well, but they came back. I think it was 36 unanswered points that they scored against Huddersfield last week. So they have some quality in the side, do the Wakefield Trinity. And here is Jordan Crowther. Randall behind him inside the 10. Oh, it's a good run from him. He had Hampshire as well on the diagonal run on his inside. Chose to hang on to it. That was Hampshire. And on the line, it's Arona or thereabouts on tackle number 5. Randall Back it comes to Hampshire. Hampshire then to Miller. Miller fires the pass wide to Griggs. Griggs into the corner. And Tom Davies taking no chances because Tom Johnston was breathing down his neck.
Good set from Wakefield. Patient, calculated. And Scott Griggs gets that ball. He knows there's a bit of space behind. And Tom Davies has no option under pressure from Tom Johnston just at the back of him.
He's not erratic at the back, is he, when he links up, Scott Griggs? Very controlled, steps up, controls the place, trying to create that 3-on-2 on the edge. He is a very good player, a wealth of experience.
And that attack from Wakefield drawing applause, as you saw, from their coach Chris Chester, who of course during his playing career was a hero in Cherry and White at one stage. Back tonight very much in the opposition camp though, of course. The goal line dropout almost caught Jacob Miller unawares there. I think he thought Johnston was going to get him himself. As it is, it's with Crowther now. And there is Tyler Randall. No Kyle Wood tonight, and when he comes on usually for Wakefield he does spice things up a bit. But he's missing tonight, he's out injured. As Tupu fights for the ground, gets to his feet. Here is Miller. Miller then gets it to Randall. Randall tips the ball back on the inside to Arona. They're back 15 metres away from the Wigan line. 3 tackles gone. Randall once again coming into centre field with Hubie. Hubie then looks for the runner. It's Hampshire. Great ball. And so close, James Batchelor. Good defence on show from Greenwood as Randall at dummy half fires the pass again to Hampshire. That bounces off Navaret's legs, and I think he played for that. This is going to be 6 to go. Yes, the referee has wiped the tackle count down. He certainly made a play for it, the Frenchman, with his legs. So 6 more here for Wakefield. Gets it away to Griggs. Griggs, oh, it was a loose pass. And that will be deemed to be a knock-on. And that's a real chance gone for Wakefield.
Well, especially when you had another set of 6. A lot of players in motion. The pass just wasn't there from Scott Griggs. Been a lot of plaudits before about how he controls the game. The no-look pass, just trying to fix those defenders, and Matty Ashurst may have switched off, and Chris Chester knows that you get down near Wiggins' line, you've got to come up with better players like that.
Lots of players in the bank there for Wakefield. He went on the short side. Matty Ashurst, he slowed his run up, and Scott Griggs was still passing the ball on the line that Matty Ashurst had slowed up on. So an easy handover from Wakefield there, but it's then what they do off the back of that. Disappointment of handing the ball over, backed up with some good defence.
It's unusual for Wakefield. I've never seen them look that anxious when they're attacking the opponent's try line. They usually have a carefree approach. They're very relaxed, but there was tension really in the pass. And Taylor didn't find his teammate.
Big push at the scrum. Wakefield looking bemused why this wasn't allowed to be play on.
Well, they try and get the ball back, just the sheer effort and strength to push them back.
Yeah, he said that the ball came out the side of the scrum. It didn't come out correctly, so he's reformed the scrum.
So Wigan a little bit fortunate there. Big push at the scrum. I wonder if that's a hint of what maybe is to come from Wakefield in those situations later on. Sam Powell. Here is Sean O'Loughlin. First try of the year against St Helens last week. What a night to choose to get your opening score of 2018. Navarrete again taking the ball forward for Wigan. And certainly as a result of that defeat against St Helens last week, they are suddenly the dark horses in many people's eyes for a place in the grand final to see Sean Wayne off in style.
Well, a kick from Wigan. They chose to challenge Wakefield. 3rd tackle, I think it was Sam Tompkins, just kicks the ball 30 metres downfield and challenging Wakefield to get near and back near that try line.
Jones Bishop will play the ball there to Hampshire. Here is Rhys Lynn again, another Wakefield player in the form of his life in 2018. Rhys Lynn. Randall now dummy half. I think he might have to do long minutes tonight.
It's a good point, that, Eddie. I mean, the average is 50 minutes a match in the 22 games he's played this season. You think he may be asked to play out there for 80. What impact will that have on him here? As Jordan Crowther, another player that I think could have a massive potential. Is there an injury in there? One of the Wigan players.
Greenwood. It's Joe Greenwood's in a bit of trouble here.
They both end up entangled. We'll see if Joe Greenwood's picked up an injury there, but you're right about Jordan Crowther. He made his debut back in 2014. I can remember watching him as a scholarship player, run really hard, above his weight really. Doesn't look to have put that much size on, but it looks like his right leg Joe Greenwood's right leg, all twisted, all tangled.
It was trapped underneath him, wasn't it? It was trapped underneath him, and then Crowther with a bit of weight as well. He's not come off it 100% either, but Wigan will be hoping that Joe Greenwood is all right.
He was powerful last week. I think he terrorised Saints' right edge. I say, just gets trapped underneath. Awkward when both players go down. Jordan Crowther coming a real good, solid line then. And Greenwood's up. He's been given the thumbs up by the physio, Steve Blakely. Jordan Crowther still getting some attention to that right leg. On loan for the majority of the year at Dewsbury.
Yes, he has been. His first appearance for Wakefield this year was last week.
Wait there, guys, please. Ryan! Ryan, get near to me,
2 appearances for the Dewsbury Rams, 3 tries.
Wait there, please.
Looks like he's A-OK now to carry on. They'll play the ball here to Randall. Randall will come down the right-hand side, and Scott Griggs with a high kick. Whoops. A collision there with Tompkins in midair. Referee saying play on.
Ryan Hampshire just pulls out of that then. The referee says, yeah, that's fine, let's play on. Keep the ball in play, let's get some speed in the game.
First touch of the night, I think, for Dan Sargentson, on a difficult night for him. Here is Gildart, the try scorer.
He was exceptional last week, Oliver Gildart. You see him there again, making meters in the tackle. 2-3 defenders, he still pushes his legs forward. But the class to go around Ben Barber and score that try. Supreme confidence.
The ball is dropped again by Wigan, and Jacob Miller has it. This is the free play, hence the kick, the ambitious kick down this right-hand side. The referee will bring it all the way back now.
Well, he's quick, Ben Jones-Bishop, but he's not that quick. And you think John Bateman, he's going to be targeting Jacob Miller.
He does that a lot,
Jacob
Miller, doesn't he?
He goes in, he tries to strip the ball. He's not afraid of getting his body in front of some of the bigger players, but John Bateman said last week he's one of the strongest players in Super League.
And what he does, Jacob Miller, he uses the bounce of that contact. Once he's grabbed hold of that ball or the arm to try and dislodge the ball carrier, the ball from the ball carrying arm.
Phil mentioned Oliver Gildart in great form last week, and he is, as I say, the reigning Young Player of the Year. We've got the last 3 Young Players of the Year on show here tonight. There's Gildart. On the other side, we've got Tom Johnston, who was Young Player of the Year in 2016, and George Williams in 2015. So some of the best young talent in the British game on show over the past 3 years here tonight. This is Batchelor now, another youngster.
Yeah.
And he's a possibility at 20, isn't he, for this year's award?
Always impressed with him every time I see him play.
His brother scored an outstanding try for York last weekend.
Music to the ears of Saints fans. He's on his way to St Helens 2019.
85 metres.
This is Miller, stabs the kick in, goes in behind Davis, finds touch. It was an early kick as well.
Said before, Eddie, about how much craft they've got. Well, Jacob Miller, look at this, he bounces off the tackle straight away. He's looking up outside him, seeing what's on. He knows that there's 2 players in Tupu and Johnston. Drops the ball onto his boot, just tries to dab it in behind the line, but just too much on it. Can't keep it in the field of play. And Chris Chester knows that he wants the ball to stay in field. He wants to keep having a crack at the defensive line. Time after time, that's the only way that you'll break this Wigan side down.
Do you think they've talked, though, about kicking early, knowing how strong Wigan's defence is, perhaps trying to find the unexpected with an early kick through, but for them to do it so many times in the opening 15 minutes, so close to opponent's line.
And it looked the easier option to put that pass in. Jacob Miller was probably disorientated, hit and spin, and it's easy stood after the facts and saying you should have passed, but that probably was the better option. Ryan
Sutton's out there now to add a little bit of umph and bump to the Wigan forward pack. Tomorrow night, do Hull begin their recuperation against the Castleford Tigers, who are, of course, like Warrington, chasing 3rd or 4th in the playoffs. Hull FC against Castleford tomorrow night, 7:30, Sky Sports Arena. And Lee Radford, the Hull coach, will be hoping for better than that he saw a week ago tonight at Warrington, where they went down to a record defeat. Tompkins under pressure gets the kick away again. This is high. Johnston is underneath it, pouches it safely, backs then into the would-be tacklers, and Willie Isa was leading the way. Bit of help also from Davis. Wakefield now with the task of trying to bring this ball away from their own line. Tupu with the second drive.
Sean Wayne knows how strong they are at the back. Ben Jones-Bishop coming over from the right-hand side to help his colleagues out now. Scott Griggs goes in, just directs the forwards, tries to get them to come onto the ball, but it's so far in this set, it's all been the outside backs that are touching the ball.
Well, don't tell anybody that Wakefield have got nothing to play for here tonight, because they're really in the contest. And as I said, Chris Chester would love to finish in 5th place in the Super League table again this year, something that he did last year.
Well, they did it last year on the back of that home victory against Wigan, wasn't it? Was it 32-0?
It was.
Absolutely destroyed them. Did a fantastic job. Chris Chester, another penalty here though.
Yes, this one helped. This one helped the ambition.
Do me a favour, Ryan.
It's the third penalty, is it? Yes, the third penalty that Wakefield have conceded. And Williams making inroads. 4 people there, though, 4 men to bring him down. And Bateman saying that they're a little bit slow to get off the ground to play, but there were 4 of them to get off the ground.
They defend really tight as well, and trying to get in between players to land on your front. It's quite difficult. Shift the ball wide.
Greenwood looks as though he's overcome the problem with the knee. Down he goes on the 3rd tackle, and Wigan just over 30 metres away, and they get another penalty here for more interference at the play of the ball. Well, they're causing their own problems at the moment, Wakefield.
Well, this is the next real test. I mean, Wigan have had one play the ball, is the penalty for interference. They've had one play the ball close to Wakefield's try line and scored 1 try from it. You know what? If you look at the territory that Wakefield had, the possession close to the Warriors line, were unable to get over it. This kick here now will certainly put them inside this 20-metre zone when they tap the ball here.
And that's what Sean Wayne hopes for, as Greenwood drives it in again on the 1st tackle. 18.5 minutes on the watch. We're going to head 4-0, looking to double their lead here with Ryan Sutton with a determined drive towards those posts. It's Sam Powell at dummy half, and he comes this way, tries to jink inside. Oh, he got that ball down, I think. I don't think Batchelor managed to hold him up, did he, or didn't he?
Time off.
Ben Taylor having a hard look at this. They have got a try on the field, or the referee has a try on the field. It looked like he spun away from Batchelor's grasp, Stuart. It looks like the grounding was okay way up here.
Well, that's what he wants to check. He wants to check that he's still in possession of the ball when he puts the ball down on the ground. I think when Ben Taylor came round, see, there's a little bit of doubt there because his hand's on the bottom of the ball rather than on the top of the ball. Does he manage to keep contact with the ball as it hits the ground? So I think the tackler's arm is on the ground. I think there's probably just enough on there that will save him. The try's been given on the field. I don't think you can say that hand's come off before it's hit the ground.
Well, his middle finger appears to be on it.
It is the tip of the finger, isn't it, for Sam Powell?
It is. And
the Wigan Warriors.
There isn't enough evidence there to overturn that, in my opinion. And that's a shot there with the ball on the ground, the hand on the ball. This should be confirmed.
So has he doubled the Wigan advantage? Bentham taking a little bit more time to have a look at this compared to the first try. Gildart given the nod for 4-0.
He'll be trying to find a frame that shows when the hand's on the ball and the ball's on the ground. I think the ball's on the ground the frame before. That frame.
That's about 1/25 of a second. Right? Here's the decision. The try is given by Phil Bentham, the video referee.
Again, this game opens up for Wigan Warriors. Sam Powell, the latest player to get over. Second try of the game for the Warriors. Territory, penalties, a lack of discipline. Big Joe Greenwood, who was outstanding last week against St Helens. Whilst he's trying to get up, there's a bit of interference. Ben Taylor gives Wigan the penalty, and Wakefield probably on that play guilty of anticipating what's going to happen, instead of being ready for Sam Powell. James Batchelor a bit too tall, not quick enough to react.
And this time Tompkins makes no mistake with the boot. Morgan Escarate took the goalkeeping duties last week. They missed Tompkins' kicking ability. He's got 1 from 2 tonight, and Wigan are ahead 10-0.
Well, the only difference between these two teams after 20 minutes is one team can defend their own try line and the other one can't. Second visit for Wigan to the Wakefield line, second try. The Trinity defence has got to improve because Wigan will get there again, and to have a chance of coming back. It's only 10 points at the moment. There's plenty of points in this Trinity team. They need to be able to defend them as well.
Well, as I said before, the top four is out of reach for Chris Chester, but he would, however, take great pride and credit from a second successive fifth-place finish. No other Wakefield coach has achieved that since the legendary Ken Trail guided Wakefield to two titles in a row in 1966-67 and 67-68. It's a long time since Wakefield have had this measure of consistency over the course of two full seasons, but they are 10-0 down here, and they have to do something special to get themselves back into this match. This is John Bateman. He played the ball there to Powell. Here is Luluai, and that was O'Loughlin and Williams, and it's a short ball from him to Greenwood.
I thought they did that really well last week, Wigan. They mixed the game up, they attacked the edges.
And they're doing that again here with Gildart. Some cuts inside though.
It's off the back of some great work from the middleman, Neverat. Ben Flower, who's left the field. Ryan Sutton, who's on for Wigan at the minute.
Last one here for Wigan. That's why Williams tried to come up with an inventive kick, but it's given him the possession to Ben Jones-Bishop, as it turns out.
They're mixing the kicking game up, so it's not going into the corner, it's not going high.
Oh,
Just keeping him honest behind.
Just come up with the error. Well, 19 times an Irish international, 34 years of age. Scott Griggs knows he's better than that, and so do his teammates.
Yeah, he's got an awful lot of experience, like we said before. He's already looking to pass that before he catches it. Always looks to link up. He's the extra pivot in the line. Does well at the back as well.
They were 12 points to 0 down last week against the Giants, and then eventually they woke up and came to life. They need to do that very, very quickly here before this scoreline starts to run away from them, because we know they're a better side than what we've seen for 20 minutes. Something needs to provide the spark, though, because they've, well, to use the old cliche, they're not off the bus yet.
No, and Paulie is on there. He's packing down in the front row of the scrum, number 15 on his back. And Wigan begin this attack 40 metres away from their line. Greenwood once again carts the ball into the defensive line. Slips the pass as well. Powell, here is Williams. Williams then gets it away to Ryan Sutton. Sutton is grounded by Matty Ashurst, but they're now 21 metres away from the line. They've made 20 solid metres there. Here is Bateman. According to Terry last week, the skinniest, strongest player in the game.
Strongest, skinniest player I've ever seen.
Isa with the pass to Luluai. Luluai then to Sutton. Sutton gets the ball back to Tompkins. Tompkins back to Gabe Hamlin. Gabe, and he plays the ball there. There's a chance here as well, but sheer weight of numbers holds the Wigan player up. And it's Ryan Sutton who'll play it here to Powell. Powell then gives it to Greenwood, trying to muscle his way over the line. He gets over, but Wakefield, I think, do enough to hold him up, and the referee agrees.
Well, good work from Reece Lynn. When he comes in, he just clamps the ball. He jams in, makes the right decision to help James Batchelor out. James Batchelor gets underneath. And you've got to make sure that you front up, get your body in front, just like that youngster did then.
Tackle count continues after the injured player is sorted out. From 10 metres away, Reece Lynn hurt in that big collision. Just checking him out, that he knows where he is, who he is, and what he's doing.
Comes in, it's a bit of friendly fire from his teammate, Batchelor.
Seems he's okay to carry on.
Okay.
Or is he being led from his... No, he's taking his place in the defensive line.
Okay, boys, we're ready.
And just having a second look at him.
Wait there.
Right, so the tackle count will continue over the last one here for Wigan. And it's with Luluai, running it then to Williams. Here's Bateman. Bateman, over the top it goes. Basketball style to Davis. Good work from Johnston and also from Tupou. That will be the turnover.
He doesn't give him any time, does he? Tom Johnston.
But it was a disjointed end, wasn't it? Because of the injury, it was a disjointed end to that set for Wigan.
Well, they put the ball through the hands. Sometimes they've been accused of being a boring side, Wigan, with just 5 drives in a kick. But you've got to say that recently they shift the ball, they The pivots have really stepped up, the likes of Williams and Lulawai, Sam Powell and Sean O'Loughlin.
We mentioned it last week, Terry. I think that switch of Lulawai and Powell from hooker to scrum half and vice versa, I think that has worked.
With the likes of Thomas Lulawai, he's got an awful lot of experience. He does guide the side around, probably. That's what he's got, the maturity in his game. He knows what's needed.
40-20 attempt here, but the ball has stayed in the field. Tompkins has picked it up. Don't forget, grand final, as I say, it's 5 weeks on Saturday, and there's all the information you need to contact the Rugby Football League about what's going to happen on October the 13th at Old Trafford. They can't tell you yet the name of the two combatants, but they can tell you any other information you need. Phone number there and the website as well. Can't believe that we're 5 weeks away from the grand final. This year has flown. Mind you, time does go a bit quickly when you're getting old.
Take your word for it, Eddie.
This might be the turning point, perhaps for Wakefield now. An error by Wigan inside their own half of the field here. A chance for Wakefield to get back on the attack. But we need to see some energy from them. We need to see a break. We've got a group of players in the middle of the field discussing around Jacob Miller and Ashurst. What exactly they can put on here now.
It's a poor pass, isn't it, from George Williams?
Not the best. A lot of people tell me they see him as a hooker rather than a standoff. What do you say?
Well, he's got a lot about his game, Eddie. At the minute, he's a half, but I could see him going into the 9. He's a durable player. He's tough. He knows how to defend. You put him behind the dummy half, and obviously he can see things that a lot of players can't see.
Well, he has to defend here with his Wigan colleagues, because here goes Tyler Randall. Gets the ball away, and here it is with Miller. And this is a game winner for Wakefield.
Well, offloads could be the key. You know, most teams offload the ball, but Wakefield get better outcomes. They're more effective generally when they offload the ball. They get players around supporting it. They've got to find a way here, because Wigan's defence has been superb now for, well, last week and this so far.
Randall, 20 metres away they are with Hampshire. Hampshire fires the pass to Miller. He hangs on to it. This is Tupu again. And Lulawai and Willie Isa had to be quick then. It's Ashurst. Here's Miller again. Now it's with Paulie.
He has got an offload there.
There it is. Randall, and he keeps the movement going. Good hands. Go wide here to Tupu. They know this guy's the danger man. Well, that was a risky
by Wigan
pass.
Wakefield. Oh yeah, sorry, Wigan. Wakefield will get the ball again, won't they, Barry? Now 6 more plays.
It was a loose offload from Paulie. Just to expand on Phil's point, they do offload the ball, but the big difference for Wakefield is everybody's expecting it. There are enough players around it, and as soon as an offload comes, then bang, they're straight on their attack. It's a low tackle from Willie Isa, who's been solid over on the right edge, and there's the knock-on from Tom Davis. Here's Paulie. 3 players around him. Although it's a bit scrappy and a bit messy, no steward's inquiry, it's just bang, let's go.
That's his play, that he goes into contact. He's got a late offload, because he's that big, he does suck in the defenders.
Randall from the base of the scrum to Ryan Hampshire. Glorious opportunity this for Wakefield here. It's with Scott Griggs. And Riesling is waiting. When Griggs gets to his feet, 10 metres out. Hampshire again, short ball. Keegan Hurst is on the field.
It's good line speed from Navarrete, 27 minutes, and he's still got plenty in the tank.
Here goes Randall again. Randall looking to threaten the line. Just about a metre away. Scott Griggs once more. Back it comes to Keegan Hurst. Trying to barge his way through. The arm is free, but he can't get the pass away. Now, quick play the ball's what they wanted. Wigan were all disjointed in defence. This is Paulie again. He's a big man. But that's good goal line defence from the Wigan Warriors. 5 gone, last one coming up. Loose pass and straight into the arms of George Williams.
If you look at the size of John Bateman, there's no way in the world he should really control Paulie. But he took it upon himself, knowing that there's going to be a crash ball from the big number 15, who's give a penalty away now. Paulie. Look at the size of him, he's absolutely huge. But John Bateman takes it upon himself to deal with him.
And I think Sam Powell took it on himself to have a word with Paulie, and that's why he had a bit of a smile. It was a high shot, there's no doubt about that. Then Powell steps in. Well, was it from that angle? It looks as though he's been a bit hard done by.
Well, I think from the referee's angle, he's certainly gone over the top of the shoulder. I think the second shot we saw might have just been on the ball.
penalty to Wigan anyway. And they've made great ground with that penalty. They're starting this set just inside their own half. Here goes Willie Isa again, and he gets them over halfway. In fact, he gets them almost to the 40-metre line. Luluwai is waiting. Once again, it's Gabe Hamlin. 12th appearance in a row for Gabe Hamlin, gradually establishing himself in this Wigan match day 17. Ryan Sutton, one of the players off to pastures new come the end of the season, will be in Canberra next year. Williams brought to ground. Tackle 4. They're 9 metres away. Sam Powell to Luluwai. Tony Clubb pops the pass up to Tompkins. Tompkins to Bateman. Those two also off at the end of the year. It's going to be a wholesale change around for Wigan in the close season 2018. Luluwai bullets the pass to Williams. Dab over the top. Claimed by Ben Jones-Bishop, but he stepped from the field of play into his own in-goal area, and that's great harassing defence, and that's a goal line dropout forced.
Well, what excellent work from Wigan, not just in defence at the back end of that. Phil mentioned the work that Thomas Luluwai had done. He catches a bad pass. There's an old saying, it's difficult to catch a bad one and give a good one, and Thomas Luluwai does exactly that. Gives George Williams great service, and look at this, 3 players in the frame to try and effect that tackle.
And they manage it all right. And now they're trying to get their defensive formation sorted out for this goal line dropout, which skims across the turf and finds Thomas Luluwai. Clubb will bring it back now for Wigan. Ran straight at Keegan Hurst. Paulie was there. Tinarawa Rona as well. Real heavyweight collision, that one. This is Powell and Luluwai, and George Williams comes up with the error. And that's early turnover ball for Wakefield.
Well, there's a lot of movement, isn't it, from Wigan. George Williams has got a number of options to pick. Good ball at the line from Thomas Luluwai. George Williams just never had control of that. As soon as it touches his fingertips, he was always going to lose possession. Play the percentages. Wasn't really a high-risk play.
Half an hour gone here, 10-0. Told you about tomorrow night's game. We have qualifiers for you as well on Saturday. Salford against Toronto, real top of the table clash in the qualifiers. Salford leading the way, Toronto hoping for a place in Super League next year. Saturday at 3 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena, followed by Catalan Dragons against St Helens, 5:15, also on Sky Sports Arena. Saints looking for the points that might inch them towards the League Leaders' Shield, and also a bit of revenge for their Challenge Cup semi-final defeat to the Catalan Dragons earlier this year. The thing is, if Wigan win here tonight, I don't think St Helens can win the League Leaders' Shield on Saturday, so it will go to next week. That defeat by Wigan last week certainly delayed the celebrations at the totally wicked stadium. The new face on, Chris Anakin for Wakefield, taking that ball forward, playing it here to Randall. Here is Miller. He finds Hampshire to Grix. Grix tried to get the kick away. It wasn't the best kick. It ricocheted off a Wigan leg, and Joe Greenwood has it for the Warriors. And we've got 8 minutes to go to half-time.
Well, you do like a side that likes to throw the ball around. Everyone expects on the last play that you're just going to kick it. Well, Wakefield chose to run the play on the last tackle. Obviously, the kick wasn't good enough from Grix.
And Anakin lucky to not be penalised for all that at the ruck either. Gabe Hamlin here for Wigan, 5 metres inside his own half of the field.
The problem here with Gabe Hamlin.
Bang on the head.
Wait there, please.
Said last week, I think he's been a decent
Was there a
signing.
bit of pressure applied to the neck here, Stuart?
I don't think the officials on the field have seen anything. His neck's certainly locked up there. But the instructions now from the video referee, who used to come in with input, he can only give input if it's going to result in somebody being sin-binned or sent from the field.
So you mean he sin-bins or sends somebody off?
Well, he gives the information to the referee. That's the only time he can come in and advise the referee on a penalty.
I don't think Ashurst could get out the way, and I think it was maybe a clash of the heads with Miller, perhaps. It didn't look pretty, and I think by the looks of things, Ben Taylor is taking a report in his ear from Phil Bentham, and he's going to get 10 minutes in the bin for this. One of them is anyway.
Well, it's been consistent all year, hasn't it?
Matty Ashurst was going to be central.
It's been consistent all year. And
Yes, they have with that.
players who back into defenders, and there's a responsibility on the defender to make sure that when the players go into ground who's carrying the ball, you do it in the right manner. And sometimes there's no malice in these sort of plays. And sometimes they look bad. Sometimes you think, well, why did they get sin-binned? And
I think that looks not as bad as it's painted with that yellow card.
And he's got the weight of the substitute, Keegan Hurst, on the back of him as well, Matty Ashurst.
So Wakefield down to 12 men, and they will be for the remainder of this first half and the start of the second. So a chance here for Wigan to add to this 10-0 scoreline. Here's Hamlin, who is none the worse for the experience. Will get to his feet and play it here to Powell. Powell slips a short pass to Bateman. Randall and Anakin hold him. Clubb was wide to Luluai. Further wide is picked up by Tom Johnstone. And Johnstone is really quick. And this is going to be one against the head. This is a tremendous try from Johnson. Wonderful stuff from the Wakefield winger. 21st try of the season, Tom Johnstone. And Wakefield are back in it when they've just gone down to 12 men. And what a lifeline that is for Trinity. They should have been and were defending at one end of the field, and a loose pass from Wigan, picked out of the air by Tom Johnstone, and 21 for the season. Well, only Ben Barber has scored more.
Well, Tom Johnson's interception last week when the Wakefield Trinity side were playing against Huddersfield was the turning point. They went on to score 6 tries, actually on unconverted, all of them converted. But here you see, this might be the spark that Wakefield needed. They've been outplayed for over half an hour. But when you've got speed like that, it can always get you out of trouble. Look at the running style. It looks like an Olympic sprinter. It's relaxed, even with the ball under the arm. The stride length's enough. None of the Warriors can get close to him. Good interception, good reading of the situation, and then just speed to burn there. Look at Tom Davies. He's giving everything and not making any difference on that. Still a big lead. Brings it close to make the kick for Ryan Hampshire that much easier.
Tremendous stuff from Johnston. It was almost into the arms from Luluai to Sam Tompkins, but Johnston was really, really quick to spot the opportunity. And here is Ryan Hampshire now, back on his old stamping ground of Wigan, and he adds the extras. Well, it looked like it might be a difficult last 5 minutes of the first half for Wakefield. It still might be with their one-man disadvantage, but look at the scoreline now.
He's an amazing talent, Johnston. He gets this ball, and I thought it was going to be a decent foot race between him and Tom Davies. You can see the effort from Davies, but he just can't make any headway, can't catch him up. Whether it's catching a high ball, low ball, whether it's bringing the ball away from his own try line in space like that, he's got it all. He's an all-round player, Tom Johnston.
Gold medal for him, silver medal for Davies in the race from one end of the field to the other. Impressive, isn't he, Tom Johnstone? And play on is the call from Ben Taylor as Griggs takes it forward once again for Wakefield. Well, their tails are up. They might have been down, and the tail might have been between the legs, but after that interception try, having got one man off the field in the sin bin, playing with 12, suddenly Wakefield have very much come alive. Here is Keegan Hurst.
Well, constantly trying to find some space, and
there he is, Ashurst on the bin.
Well, he'll always teammates in the second half when he gets back on. Paulie. Well, there's no gap there. He's trying to make one himself.
Last tackle coming up then for Wakefield. Tony Clubb slow to get off. Paulie, and Miller drills the ball all along the ground and finds touch. And with playing with a one man down, that's good work from Jacob Miller. 4 to go.
Well, pressure on the inside from Tony Clubb on Jacob Miller. And that's the game plan. And I think they'd be quite happy, Eddie, with 4 minutes to go. Just let the clock tick down, get to half-time, just 4 points behind while there's a player in the sin bin. Highly rated as a youngster, wasn't he? Jacob Miller. Still is now, but he played for New South Wales at 16s, 18s and 20s level.
And he broke a leg against Wigan here last year, so he's having a better evening so far. And he knows where the try line is as well, because he got a try in the win against Wigan, 32-0 in the Super 8s last year, and a hat-trick here in a 62-0 home win in 2016. So he knows what it takes to get across the Wigan try line. Sargentson takes it gamely in to Chris Anakin.
Well, we didn't know back then, and Chris Anakin just went straight at him.
Well, what an absolute schmozzle it was there, and Wakefield have won the decision from the referee. That he has said that that's a knock-on by Dan Sargentson.
Well, it was body-to-body contact, and I think it's Keegan Hurst. Whilst Dan Sargentson is trying to play that ball, there's a tangle. I've seen them go the other ways.
Well, I think Sargentson's got free of the tackle, and he's trying to get up and play it quickly and lost the ball in the process.
And now something has been said to Ben Thaler from a Wigan defender, and they have conceded a penalty to Wakefield. And with 3 to go, you must do, surely. You must go for 2.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing. There's no interest.
Well, what do we know?
That's why they scored so many tries.
Well, I hope they don't regret that. And that's another messy play the ball. Batchelor here. They're really putting some pressure on this Wigan line with Reece Lynn. Whoa, and hang on, Tompkins is quick. Is he that quick? He wasn't offside. Paulie gets away from Bateman, and Paulie ploughing up the ground in front of him. Gets to his feet and plays it to Randall, finishing this first half on the front foot here. It's Hampshire. Wide they come. Ben Jones-Bishop, he did well to get it, but then he goes over the sideline, and Chris Chester's frustration is evident. And I wonder whether they should have gone for 2 now. Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, well, I think Chris Chester, knowing him like I do, he'll be thinking, look, it's not about that big play. The short passes,
Scott Griggs, exactly.
They've got numbers there. Just hit the little tip-on play, and he knows that straight away.
On the shoulder of Ryan Hampshire was Scott Griggs. He was screaming. As that ball was pumped, he cocked the ball back, pulled it back, and flung that long pass. And Scott Griggs, I feel certain, if the short ball was given free rein to the line.
We're getting to that stage of the season again, aren't we, when all the big accolades are handed out at Man of Steel night in Grand Final week. Coach of the Year would be interesting this year. Justin Holbrook currently top of the table. Sean Wayne second in the table. Stephen Price his first year in Super League. And of course Darryl Powell reigning Coach of the Year. Chris Chester's done a fantastic job.
2 years on the bounce.
And don't forget Steve McNamara at the Catalan Dragons after his cup exploits. If they could award, if they could award gongs for second halves and halves of the season, there's a load of contenders.
Young Player of the Year, Man of Steel. I don't think it's all really clear-cut now. I think round 16, I think everyone was tipping that Ben Barber was going to be Man of Steel. I think the gap's closed now with a few other players.
Here is Sam Tompkins, a former Man of Steel. He gets it away to Willie Isa. He finds Tom Davis, and he's found by Jacob Miller. That's a robust challenge, and his arm is trapped as well. He can't get away from him. That's good refereeing from Ben Thaler. Here's Bateman. Bateman gets it away to Lulawai. Lulawai to Williams. A dab from Lulawai. And Scott Griggs this time just thumps the ball into the advertising hoardings. And with just over a minute to go, it's going to be Wigan's head and feet at this scrum.
Again, I don't know whether that was overcomplicated. Dan Sargentson outside with his winger Oliver Gildart in acres of space. Might have been a difficult pass to find them, but the hardest thing to do was to put the kick in, I think.
I think you're looking for that space, but when a winger makes the decision to jam in, Ben Jones-Bishop did, he's got to get it right, and I think he nailed it. Put enough pressure on Wigan when they were coming up with that play that they forced that sloppy pass.
So Wigan were quickly into the formation to form the scrum, and that's why the clock is stopped with 1 minute and 7 seconds. Oh, and Sam Tompkins goes for a one-pointer. Well, a strange decision. That's because I have an extra minute.
Take the point, sits back in the pocket, strikes it well.
better get these glasses seen to. They cost me £4. Tompkins with the drop goal. Just edges Wigan ahead. Still further. But it's 11-6, that's all. It's only 5 points in it. And as Wakefield make their way off the field, I just wonder whether they are thinking now that they should have taken the 2 points on offer from that penalty in front of the sticks. Be interesting to see what the half-time news is from the dressing rooms, but Wigan certainly the better side for much of the first half. They scored the tries from Gildart and Powell. John Stones, though, length of the field was a cracker, 11-6 at the break.
Brown misses him. Gelling over the top.
Welcome to Group 2.
Why are you here?
I had a run-in with a space alien.
What is that?
That's the thing that killed my man.
The ultimate predator.
We need to find this thing.
You're insane, right?
Yeah! They're large. They're fast. And messing you up is their idea of tourism.
I think we're gonna die. Just pointing it out.
The Predator.
I've brought good grilling to Great Britain because a tasty footy match is like a juicy burger. There's 2 halves, buns, your star striker, patty, red cards, ketchup, yellow cards, mustard, corners, cheese. No, Morris, no fruit, don't be weird. And to top it all off, a little bet. I'm going each way for a draw.
Don't bet silly, bet savvy.
Knock that off.
Win a share of £25,000 in cash with the new Build Your Bet leaderboard at coral.co.uk. The smart money's on Coral.
Smiths, when you love what you do.
The heroic true story of Squadron 303. Hurricane, in cinemas and on digital platforms September 7.
The all-killer, no-filler Deadpool collection. Every fortnight, take a wild ride through the twisted history of Marvel's hysterical hitman in these special edition hardback beauties. Book one, just $1.99.
A new international tournament is on the horizon.
Europe's top footballing nations are about to go head-to-head once more.
It's all on the line.
Promotion, relegation, European qualification.
We enter the competition looking to keep up the momentum.
Time to put that disappointment behind us. To find our feet again. To restore pride.
To topple giants.
But all seeking glory.
The UEFA Nations League, live only on Sky Sports.
Electric tonight in what promises to be a dramatic dogfight.
There's an emergency situation at the stadium.
You should have taken a job at Arsenal.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
Semi-final time in the NRL. 4 matches for you coming up on Sky Sports Arena. 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. It is 2nd v 3rd Melbourne against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Saturday is the 5th place Penrith Panthers taking on the 8th place New Zealand Warriors. 8:25 a.m. for that one. And that is followed by the minor premiers, the Sydney Roosters, taking on the Cronulla Sharks, who have won their last 3 matches and finished in 4th. And then it is 6th v 7 as Wayne Bennett's Brisbane Broncos take on St George Illawarra. 6:55 a.m. on Sunday for that one. It is round 4 of the Betfred Super League Super 8s, and it's a 5-point half-time lead for the home side, the Wigan Warriors, over Wakefield Trinity. Good start for the Warriors, scoring early. They've scored 2 tries to Wakefield's 1, a Tom Johnstone intercept. Let's have a look at the figures from that first 40 minutes. Possession 55% to the Wigan Warriors, 45% to Chris Chester's side. Completion rates favoured by Wakefield Trinity, 76% to Wigan, 71%. 7 handling errors for Sean Wayne's side, but the important stat is that they have that half-time lead.
Okay, it is a Wigan Warriors side hoping to clamp down on that second spot in the league and claim a home semi-final. It's a Wakefield Trinity side playing free of pressure and free of any real expectation. John Wells, your thoughts on that first 40 minutes?
Trademark fast start from the Wigan Warriors. There was some doubts, not least my own, about how they would back up after such an emotionally draining victory against St Helens last week. Well, we didn't have to wait long, did we? Gildout in the second minute. It was a fantastic finish from him, wasn't it? And then Sam Powell as well. Well, he's grounded. That's a fair enough try. But then the try of the half, I thought, was from Tom Johnston. The first 10 metres in particular. Once he positioned himself in that place, just on the inside of the opposition winger, the first 10 metres were impressive, and nobody could get within 5 metres of him.
A point made by the boys in commentary. He scored a very similar try in the victory over Huddersfield last week. Final play of the game was Sam Tompkins knocking over a drop goal, 1 point drop goal, extend the lead to 5 points for the Wigan Warriors. Wakefield threw plenty at the Wigan Warriors in that side. So, I mean, you're going to get a test here. This is a Wigan Warriors side preparing for the semi-finals. They've got a really good test here against Wakefield.
Yeah, and they will continue to do so in the second 40 minutes. They could have been level as well. Could have been within a point. Sam Tompkins drops the goal. And I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, we talked about the fast start, didn't we, from the Wigan Warriors, and what they do in terms of their shape. This all stems from Sean O'Loughlin. So that the man who's in receipt of the ball now, just what he does in the tackle is strengthen the tackle, and then that position that everybody talks about in rugby league, the hands and knees. I'll just take that back ever so slightly, and we'll show you. If you just have a look at Sean O'Loughlin here, you've got hands and knees. He's in control of that ruck. The net result of that, there's a bit of confusion out the back, and arguably they've put a man extra on the short side than they should do. But as the ball is live and is in play now, you have a series of players who are at best static, at worst still retreating, certainly not able to put any pressure. Phil picked up on this in commentary. There is an area now that can be exploited by Tommy Luluwai. This is exactly what he does. He squares up and he enters that box. Now, the result of that is it takes care of all these players here, and also takes away any momentum that these outside players on the edge of your screen and onwards are going to be able to affect on that attacking line. So I'll roll that on and show you what I mean by Luluwai. Soon as he takes that step into that box, you have a look at this now, static. Any momentum on the outside is gone. They can't, because everybody in the inside cannot move. Good shape from the Wigan Warriors. One other thing in here that particularly impressed me, Brian, Williams sometimes accused of overplaying. On this occasion, that he's taken the decision, if there is somebody in a better position than you to affect more pressure and change on that defensive line, then give him it. He's done exactly the right thing. He's not overplayed. He's given it to the man who can really do the damage.
Okay, talk to me now about what Rhys Lynn and Ben Jones-Bishop are facing as the ball lands in Sam Tompkins' hands.
Well, we talked about this, didn't we, just before we came on air after the break. It's a very, very difficult decision. We talk about what we'd maybe do in this decision. I would have probably come in here a long time ago and had a pass thrown for a try in the corner, a lot easier than Gildout was able to.
Perhaps force him to throw it over your head at least. He's able to face the ball across Dan Sargent and hits Gildout, who finishes wonderfully.
He does. I mean, the only thing about that is that because the momentum is taken away from these guys, any pressure that they could have perhaps applied earlier, 5 seconds earlier in that play, is gone now, because Tompkins has got the ball after some great work from Tommy Luluwai. And then the finish itself, as you said, I mean, he is a left-hand carry as Gildout, but that took some scoring. That was incredible.
Absolutely brilliant. Listen, they didn't have it all their own way. Only one try for Wakefield, that Tom Johnston intercept, but they had some attacks at Wigan's line and some pretty solid Wigan defence.
No, I think some rather predictable attack, and I will say at this level now, Wakefield have got ambitions, haven't they, of going and pushing beyond where they currently sit and where they finished last year in 5th, and that is to break into that top 4. They're going to have to take chances like this. Griggs at the start of the play. There's a key moment in this, and they've got Ryan Hampshire in possession of the ball. And I'll try and stop it at the right point, but at this point here, if you're Ryan Hampshire and you're having a good look at this defence here, you're seeing one man in particular who jumps out at you, and that's Dan Sargentson, who has not taken his eyes off the ball the entire time and has certainly not accounted for a pass here or a pass here or a pass to Griggs. I think that's an opportunity missed, and I think Wakefield could be within a point, if not a point in front, had the conversion gone over as well, because that's a try-scoring opportunity.
All right, I wonder what Sean Wayne has made of that first 40 minutes in the change rooms with his side now, delivering the final few words. He is heading towards the finish of his career as a Wigan Warriors coach. He will hope that's at Old Trafford, and his side are shaping up nicely for a tilt at that. Chris Chester and Wakefield, well, he said, we've got no pressure on us, only that we put on ourselves, and he wants to replicate last year's 5th place finish. Of course, mathematically still a chance of the top 4, but that's highly, highly unlikely. What can his side produce in the second 40 minutes here at the DW Stadium? Wigan have lost here only once, that against league leaders St Helens. Have Chris Chester and Wakefield Trinity got a nasty surprise for Sean Wayne and his team? You can find out now after this short break. Second 40 minutes on the way.
Chase on him, Luke Gay with a drop goal! He has kicked it!
Reality, the most exciting sensation you can imagine. Experience the multi-award-winning Peugeot 3008 SUV for yourself.
Every hour of every day, be the man of today. Boss Bottle.
Like getting your money's worth?
I finished the garden!
Then enjoy a freshly prepared 99p mayo chicken, part of the McDonald's Saver menu.
Well done, wizard. You are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
What would you have me do now, Your Majesty?
Turn that into Bud Light.
Okay.
Now turn that statue into Bud Light.
You know, Your Highness, I can do other things. I can put a curse on your enemies. I can make you immortal.
Yeah, no, just the Bud Light thing.
Dilly dilly. Dilly.
Keep it Bud Light.
Dilly.
She's a witch.
If he breaks the rules, he pays the price.
Patrick Melrose.
Imagine television if you had impaired vision. We do.
Patrick wobbles off round a corner, only to fall flat on his face. He lurches forward, limbs flailing like a puppet with loose strings.
Mr. Melrose. All good?
Here at Sky, we're passionate about creating audio description to give the richest experience to all our customers. To find out more, call 0303 123 9999, hashtag AD support, or go to audiodescription.org.uk. Sky. Believe in better.
And perhaps weave a little bit of magic. Well, here we are at Wigan for the first of our matches from the Super 8 and the qualifiers. 3 more to come over the weekend. Tomorrow night we're up in Hull for Hull FC against the Castleford Tigers, 7:30 on Sky Sports Arena. And then the spotlight switches again to the qualifiers on Saturday. 2 more for you, both of them on Sky Sports Arena. Salford against the Toronto Wolfpack, vital match for those two, 3 o'clock on Saturday. And well, then we have the Catalan Dragons and the St Helens would-be league leaders at 5:15 on Sky Sports Arena again. Here it's Wigan who are in second place against Wakefield, who are looking for 5th at the end of the season, and it's 11-6 to the Warriors as we prepare to get this second half underway. Sam Tompkins' drop goal right on the stroke of half-time, which might prove crucial in the end, but Wakefield are only 5 points adrift at the break. They're still down to 12 men. They will be for the first 2 or 3 minutes of this second half, with Matty Ashurst in the sin bin. But let's see what the next 40 minutes has in store. Wakefield have weathered the storm, Terry, and they've bounced back.
Well, they're always a team that play with a lot of energy. They have enough possession to cause Wigan some problems, and Wigan, when they've shifted the ball, they're looking to find some space. But Wakefield, with this man, they certainly do turn up for each other. They work hard. There's a commitment to the cause for Chris Chester.
He carried 3 men back towards their own line then, Paulie.
So Sorry, I was just going to say, let's see what the attitude's like, and obviously the game's not as intense as last Friday.
Well, here's a penalty to Wakefield.
He does that, Chris Anakin. He's not the biggest of players, but when he runs hard, and he's a difficult player to try and handle. You see Ryan Sutton, Sam Powell, just trying to buy that extra half a second.
Please.
Well, the referee seems unsighted here, doesn't he? But he pulls the arm back, and I think he clearly loses the ball. And the referee had to make a decision from where he stood. He thought the ball had been forced out.
I think he's a strong player, though, isn't he, Anakin? He should have been put down then by 3 Wigan players.
So here can Wakefield again, this time from just inside the Wigan half of the field. Bill Tupu. They'll be enthused by the fact that they have done so well with 12 men since Matty Ashurst's been off the field in the sin bin. Keegan Hurst takes tackle number 2. Midway inside the Wigan half, Randall. Paulie again, a solid run. Oh, that was knocked out by a Wigan hand. Oh, they've got away with it, Wigan. They have got away with this. Goes wide to Oliver Gildart. Referee ruling it was a knock-on by Wakefield, but I think you clearly see here there's a hand there that knocks it out. Mind you, Stuart, that's in the tackle, isn't it? Fair play.
The class as a loose carry.
Fair play. Seeing it on the second glance. So a good decision from Ben Thaler. Hence the reason why we don't pick the whistle up, Terry.
Well, whenever he gets the ball, you've just got to try and hit him with everything. So your hands and shoulders are going to be going everywhere.
This is Sutton again now for Wigan. 5 metres inside the Wakefield half. Too long in the tackle, Anakin.
Well, there's a little battle going on there. Ryan Sutton couldn't put Chris Anakin down a minute ago. And then he picks him straight out when he carries the ball. He's the spot. He's the man that he's trying to get at. Chris Anakin, so he's a powerful player, gets his body close on contact, takes him to ground. There's a little bit of shoving on the floor. Too long for the referee, Ben Thaler.
I've got the penalty. Seriously, think.
Ryan Sutton getting a bit of a ticking off from Ben Thaler for the argy-bargy that followed between him and Anakin. So Wigan here with the opportunity. He's looking for Matty Ashurst. Is he back out there yet? Should be shortly as Wigan launch this attack. In actual fact, he's on the sideline, waiting patiently to come back into the action. Will he be too late to stop this? Ryan Sutton with that drive. He comes back on the field now, Ashurst. He's quickly back into the defensive line. They're going away from him, though. Now back into the centre. Anakin was high on Hamlin.
Well, Anakin again, he was picked up by Ryan Sutton, and he's got involved again in that play. Certainly up for the challenge here. Chris Anakin. He's had some shocking injuries over the years, Chris Anakin. Gabe Hamlin tenses up on contact and he just goes over the top. Clear penalty. Both sets of players coming together.
Referee's called time off. Some Wigan supporters thought that Anakin was on his way to the sin bin for 10 minutes then.
He seems in the mix, doesn't he, Chris Anakin?
He wants a word. I think it'd be a word and nothing else.
Right, I've got that over there. Right, we're very slow. Listen, no. Listen to me, be very careful about what you're saying. Right, and then I've got a high tackle. All right, I had a word with you before. We've got clear, slow ruck, and then we've got another penalty. I had a word with Chris in the first half as well about the rucks. I need them tidy up and quicker, and you've got to think about your tackles as well.
Won't take any nonsense, Ben Thaler.
It was well dealt with, wasn't it, by the referee?
And it was high. That's why the penalty's been given, and Sam Tompkins is going to go for the 2 points on offer here, which means Wakefield will have to score twice. Well, he ended a 15-game playing sequence when he was absent against the Saints last week. Kicked 4 goals against Wakefield here in March, a win, 2 goals in the defeat in June. Back across the hill. Tompkins adds the extras. It's Wigan 13, Wakefield 6. Half-time news. Angela?
Well, the message from Sean Wayne really was about patience.
patience. They've got to be patient in the second half. Too many errors in that first half, and they need to cut those out and, of course, complete their sets. Fairly happy defensively, but he wants a quick start from them now. Really wants to set these first 20 minutes, take the game to Wakefield. Chris Chester, he says that yardage penalties have cost them 6 of the 7 penalties with yardage, and it doesn't give them a chance really in terms of territory. It's still in the game though. It's going to be a close game, but they need to complete and cut out those errors. And a quick word on Michael Monaghan, the assistant coach. He's been banished to the stand and told not to come pitch side for something he said to the referee at half-time as they went off.
Okay, so Michael Monaghan will be sitting there throughout, and he can only go back down pitch side when the final siren sounds and goes into the dressing room. So he doesn't take any nonsense, Ben Thaler. That's one thing you can say about him.
Well, he's still got the fire in his belly, hasn't he, Michael Monaghan? His side have pushed Wigan, and you have to say that's the reason Sam Tompkins dropped that goal before half-time, and the decision for Wigan to take 2 as soon as they were offered. So Wakefield still in this game, still pressuring Wigan, but have to get those small little facets of their game correct.
Indeed they do. And this is the last tackle, and Tompkins will hoist the kick into the corner. Griggs is after it, and Griggs claims it just a couple of metres away from his own line. They won here, Wakefield, for the only time in 10 visits last year. They were 20-0 down at one stage. They turned round at half-time, 22-20 up, and then they took control with 36 unanswered points for a 42-30 victory. Bill Tupu scored a hat-trick. Oh, what they would give for that sort of second half here tonight. And here is Rhys Lynn, away from Clubb, away from Bateman. Oh, and it was pinched by Ryan Sutton. And then he's lost it in the collision, and so Wakefield get away with that with Anakin on the ball, and they've got 6 to go.
Well, those 2 players, Sutton and Anakin, been involved in the last couple of minutes. Sutton steals the ball, then Anakin picks it up. Going to turn into a bruising game, this. Big shot from Tony Clubb. And Keegan Hurst, look at that from the prop forward.
Good work. Good work. Well, it's been played quite ferociously this game, and you know, shame on those who say that the Super 8s for the teams outside the top 4 mean little, because Wakefield are proving that is absolute nonsense here tonight, having a real go. And here they come again with Miller, who gets it wide and finds Ashurst, fresh after his 10 minutes in the sin bin, brought to ground by Willie Isa. Now it's with Jacob Miller, and he finds Keegan Hurst. Keegan Hurst goes down in the tackle eventually, but it's the last one. They've made almost 70 metres though, and it's with Ashurst again. Back it comes. Nice little chip over the top from Randall, but Tompkins was there to clear up the danger, but they turn the ball over 5 metres from Wigan's line.
Good play from
Now they don't want to give away a penalty here.
No, that's right. All right.
But they have.
He can't get out of the way, can he, Tyler Randall? Come up with a good little run-around play on the short side. Wigan were aware of it.
Why did he get himself into that position? Tompkins was on the floor. He only needed to touch him with a finger. He wasn't going to steal the ball off him. The tackle was completed. The penalty counts 9-4 now in Wigan's favour. That's self-inflicted pain for Wakefield.
Yes, he was all over the top of him. I'm sure that Chris Chester is well aware of that as well. And he did try to get out of the way, but he didn't try hard enough.
He shouldn't have got into that situation. That was the first problem.
This is Hamlin. Oh, he does well. Spins away from a couple. Gets away from Yubi. Anakin was there again. This is Powell. Found its way to Davis. He's dealt with by Johnston. Willie Isa. Well, it got there in the end to Luluai. He then finds Williams, who finds Greenwood. Tompkins now. And Sutton finds Bateman down this right-hand side. Miller does well, gets the initial challenge in, helped out then by Ashurst. And Anakin again, who's really putting himself about second half. Powell on the last tackle. Nice little kick from Luluai. Good chase needed here. Well, Clubb led the way, and it was good work by Ben Jones-Bishop, but it's now turned over on the Wakefield line. And can Rhys Lynn get them out of trouble? No, he doesn't make any. Well, he makes maybe a metre. Johnston again.
Well, it was a good kick, wasn't it, from Thomas Luluai to trap Wakefield down near their own line. And they're in a bit of trouble there. Speedsters yet again trying to get them down near Wigan's half to get a good kick away. They want to kick the ball under no pressure.
And Wigan hunting a mistake very quickly off the defensive line. Solid again. Good set that defensively from the Warriors. 30 metres made on 5 tackles. Randall to Hubie. There's Hampshire, hammers the ball downfield, but straight to Tompkins.
They really have missed the 8 and 9 for Wakefield. David Fafita, when he carries the ball, meters after contact, the offloads, the difficult proposition it is to get him down, and that spark from the bench. Kyle Wood missing for Wakefield this evening. They're still in this game, without a shadow of a doubt, but they're definitely missing those players. He's treading the line, Chris Anakin.
Yes, he is. He was fortunate that he put the legs back on the floor, because had he continued this on, well, Oliver Gildart would have been in all sorts of trouble. Hamlin with a solid run up the middle. Met by Randall. Did well to stand his ground then.
He's lost the ball there, Gabe Hamlin.
That's good work by Randall in defence.
I was just about to say, Ryan Sutton and Gabe Hamlin have really stepped up in his second half. Very powerful, very direct, not using the footwork. You can see that the 3 defenders really stood the ground, and Tyler Randall hits him with everything that he's got.
Robbie said, Phil, didn't we? He'd have to do long minutes in this match, and he is.
Might thrive on it. The challenge, it almost went into fashion, didn't it? Hooker's playing the full 80, and then Cameron Smith and James Roby are 2 of the best in the world, and they seem to do it. So he's got an opportunity here tonight to stay on the field, and they have an opportunity. 7 points behind, half an hour to go. We saw what they were capable of with that interception try. They need an element of luck. Perhaps they need a penalty to get them close to Wigan's try line here. Wigan's discipline's been strong.
Well, they're aiming Wigan to get... Oh, Miller gone early with the kick. Gone very early with the kick. Rieslin's chasing this. Tompkins and Gildart after it as well. Gildart gets to the line. Oh, and he does well to stay within the field of play, out of his own in-goal area.
Oh, great play. Great play.
They've managed it.
We said before the game, Wakefield are good to watch. Last week they started the match with a short kick-off. They'll take a gamble. They've worked incredibly hard there.
And it's that man Randall
to get from the scrum to that for that second tackle. Look at this kick here. Lynn goes hard. Ben Jones-Bishop outside him, and Sam Tompkins and Oliver Gildart are desperate for this ball to sit up short of the try line. He manages to get it and get back into the field of play. But this second effort from Wakefield, this is the chance here now. This is what they've had to do to give themselves an opportunity now to score next.
I think what you've got to admire about him is Tyler Randall. Again, he's involved. Gabe Hamlin, he loses the ball, then he comes up and he gets that tackle, forces Wigan back over the try line. The craft to come up with a play like that, kick on the first play, make sure that if it doesn't come off, your defence has got to be there, it's got to be strong.
Oh, this goal line dropout is better than it looked, but it's found Tom Johnston. Oh, he's dropped the ball as Johnston. It'll come back. Bill Tupu thought he was on his way to another try this season, but he'll have to come back.
Well, with all that hard work, and when the dropout was there, no one took control. It was bouncing everywhere. He loses it before contact. He's trying to thread his body through the line. You can see there the ball bouncing. Tom Johnston was hoping that somebody else was going to catch it. Comes across, scanning across the line, uses footwork. As he's going in between Hamlin and Clubb, he just loses the ball.
Well, that's annoying for Chris Chester, and I bet even worse for the player himself, because Wigan have got the scrum here just inside their own half of the field. Frustration for Wakefield. It was a shabby goal line dropout, to be fair, and it bounced and bobbled its way into the Wakefield half. It beat everybody on the bounce. Anyway, Wigan won't be complaining because they're in possession on the halfway line. And it's Ryan Sutton again for them, met by a solid challenge once more from Craig Hubie. Powell gets it away to Williams. Here comes Greenwood. Greenwood is pulled to ground by 4 of them. Eventually he gets there. Lynn and Hampshire last men off, and Greenwood looks at the referee, was asking for a penalty. Sutton to Luluai. Here's Tompkins. Now it's Isa. Finds Davis.
That's good defence from Wakefield. Held the shape, moved towards the threat, and made the tackle.
It's with Bateman. Bateman down the middle. Last next one coming up for Wigan. It's been a good defensive set this for Trinity. Tompkins will try and thread the ball through. It's with Johnson again. Now he'll try desperately to hang on to it this time. And that he does.
Some decent carries now for Wakefield, some lonely carries as well. Some decent line speed from the Warriors, looking to force the mistake.
Ben Jones-Bishop. Good hit by Greenwood. Stopped the run initially. And he was finished off by Clubb and Powell. Keegan Hurst. Wakefield looking to prize open this Wigan defence. Wigan knowing if they win, they're just going to be 4 points behind the Saints at the top of the table.
Good line from Paulie. Paulie trying to get behind the play of the ball.
Randall on the last. Hampshire hammers it down the line. It'll fine touch this. That's not a bad kick. And a big smile from Ryan Hampshire. 2013-2015 he was at Wigan, but he's found his best form this year. Formerly with Castleford and Lee as well, of course.
Well, happy with that kick, playing for that as well. He asks a lot of questions, doesn't he, Ryan Hampshire?
Well, he played in the £1 million game, didn't he? A bit like Josh Drinkwater. Started the season perhaps not expected to be the scrum half. Wakefield began the year with Liam Finn, just like Catalan Dragons began the year with Luke Walsh, and then a lot can happen over the course of a season. He's forced his way into the side, and I think for them to get back into this game, they need Miller or Hampshire to start running the ball a bit more. Obviously, they need the ball at the moment. Wigan have it, but they are a dangerous running threat, and all of the Wigan players, as they start to tire in the last quarter, would dread the sight of Hampshire and Miller coming at them.
And I think Hampshire himself believes this is his best position. He's been all over the shop, really. Full back many times, but this he believes is his favourite position.
He's an attacking player, Ryan Hampshire. He needs some, agreed what Phil's saying, but he needs some quick play.
That ball's come out.
Mistake here from Wigan.
Oh, and Wigan come up with the possession in the end from Bateman, but Wakefield will get head and feet at this scrum.
Well, the Isa.
It just came out. It's a loose carry from Isa, so Wakefield have the chance, another chance.
And getting back to my point on rights of Hampshire and Miller, every time that they are looking to get the ball, they're scanning, they're seeing what's in front of them, they're looking if it's going to be a quick play of the ball. Do they go, as soon as they get quick play of the ball, who are they going to attack? And I think that they are genuine running threats. They've got a good, decent show and go, and that is the key. They need that quick play of the ball.
That is the key, Tez. You saw off the back of Paulie, one quick play of the ball. That gave a bit of think time, and it was quite an average set before that kick went in. Here we go.
Grix and Lynn, and here is Jones-Bishop. Oh, he gets so close on tackle number 1. Rhys Lynn is waiting at dummy half, and he'll fire the pass to Scott Grix again. And Grix just delayed with Navarrete in front of him. So they're back about 15 metres away from the line. Here is Hubie. Now it's Hampshire again, gets a good ball away to Miller. Miller then finds Bill Tupou. Oh, Tupou's over in the corner here. He's taken 2 over with him. Ben Thaler has nodded to the touch judge. He said, yes, it's a try, I think, and they've got a try on the field. He just wants Phil Bentham to check the grounding. But it looks like Wakefield have scored, Stuart.
Well, it does. Touch judges can't see the ball, and that's his issue. He can't see the ball as well as the legs, so he doesn't know at what point the ball's grounded. But we can see there that the ball's certainly grounded. I'm sure from behind we'll see that his legs are well inside the field of play, so there's no issue there. This will be confirmed.
What an effort from Wakefield. A small band of supporters happy, many of them on their feet. They'll be even more on their feet when they get this green light. There we go. Wakefield back within 3 points. Conversion to come, difficult it must be said, but Bill Tupou, what a year he is having. Bill Tupou, he got a try in the 32-16 home win against Wigan in June, and he's come up with a very important score here as a result of this mistake.
Well, they get the mistake, they get the ball, and Bill Tupou, well, he's created enough tries for his winger, Tom Johnston, but he also knows how to finish a try as well. All he needs is just to get a one-on-one, get on the outside of Oliver Gildart, and he's got the power and the pace to go over for the try.
Now here's a big kick for Ryan Hampshire.
Best kicker in the league, Eddie, at the moment.
Big kick this. Oh, and he's just sliced it the wrong side of the posts.
It's a shame. He's had a 90% success rate since he took over the kicking duties from Liam Finn. But this is class. Do you know what? They almost scored on the right wing from the scrum play, but they've got the quality here to get the players right up in position. Perhaps they were too deep on the right wing, not on the left, and Bill Tupou goes over.
Delighted Chris Chester, and playing a team here that has only lost once on home soil in Super League. They've got the best home record in the competition, 11 wins from 12. They were beaten 6 points to 14 by Saints in July. They haven't been beaten here since. But Wakefield are giving them a real run for the money, and there's still over a quarter of the game to go. How will Hull scrub up after that disastrous night for them at Warrington last week? They play Castleford tomorrow, live on Sky Sports from the KCOM Stadium. Wigan have got the ball back here.
Well, we're looking like we're going to get forced off the pitch, so we release the ball. Wigan were the first to react. See Tupou releases the ball just as he's going over the line.
And Bateman did well to see the ball loose on the ground and got to it first. They're coming forward again, only 3 points in this, remember. Wigan just ahead with Williams and Greenwood now. Crowd doing their best to lift the Wigan Warriors for a big effort in the last quarter of the match. As Navarrete finds Willie Isa, and Craig Hubie got to him with a bit of help there from Chris Anakin. Last one though here for Wigan. From Powell it comes back to Tompkins. He threads the ball through again. And Ben Jones-Bishop, I think he's going to end up over the line. The goal line dropout coming up.
Well, he does everything right, doesn't he, Ben Jones-Bishop? Positions himself in the right place, but it's the effort in defence from Wigan. When he gets the ball, gets back into the field of play, trying to get to the ground, but it's the Dan Sargentson who just manhandles him and pushes him over the line. Bill Tupou, look at the skill here.
They've shuffled the side round really well. Oliver Gildyer, who started the game on the opposite side, has now come across to the right, playing in the centre with Tom Davis outside him. It was his defensive effort that almost forced Bill Tupou over the line. They got the ball, and over on the other side, Dan Sargentson works extra hard in defence.
Shallow goal line dropout. It wasn't for the Wakefield players to chase. Hamlin again. Shown up well second half of the season, Gabe Hamlin.
He's got good leg speed and he runs very hard as well every time he gets the ball.
Powell gets it to the left-hand side to Williams. Williams then finds Greenwood. This is a chance for Wigan to increase their lead. And it's with Williams again. Navarrete will take it forward, straight at Anakin. Hubie's there, though, to help out. But how close are Wigan here? That's how close, 2 metres from the line. Powell, Williams, looking to prise open the defence. He just slipped in front of Hubie. That's 4 tackles gone. Wakefield hanging on as Luluai finds Tompkins. He showed it to Isa, gave it instead out wide. That's good defence on their own line again from Wakefield. They're working hard. Gildart to his feet, plays it to Davis. Tompkins again. Kick from him, goes sideways. Navarrete, as he wiped the tackle count clean, the referee. Navarrete is just held up over the line.
Tackle 1, played out.
So it was played out by Wakefield. That's the decision from Ben Thaler, and they go back 10 metres, and that was tackle 1.
Well, this is the third consecutive set here now, attacking. We've had the goal line drop out. This is amazing if Wakefield can hold them out.
Powell looks for the runners. It's Luluai. Luluai then finds Tompkins. Tompkins can wide to Davis. It wasn't the best pass. Wigan will line up again, all the way across the field. It's with Tompkins. Here is Bateman. Bateman gets it away to Isa. Greenwood, good ball. Touched again, but touched backwards. Griggs has it, and Sargentson can't tip him over the try line and force the goal line dropout. So Wakefield survive a stern examination of their defence.
Well, if Ben Jones-Bishop doesn't tap that ball back, that would have been a certain try. I think Wigan had 2 players on the left-hand side, nobody in front of them. Done a decent job. Now they've got it. Here you go. There's the offload from Williams, trying to get to Sargentson.
Jones-Bishop again. Ran straight at Isa. Isa helped out by Navarrete and Bateman. 4 tackles gone. Wigan on the front foot defensively. Anakin slipping, getting away from them though temporarily, then losing the ball on the ground, and Hamlin does the same. It'll be head and feet to Wigan.
Well, they enjoyed that, the Wigan crowd, and so did the players as well. Chris Anakin, particularly in the second half, got right under the skin of everybody here at the DW. Just can't keep hold of that.
You're right, he's like he's got a target on his chest, Chris Anakin, in his second half. All the middlemen for the Cherry and Whites are chasing him down. When they get the ball, they're picking him out. And he's certainly not backing down. Made the mistake there.
Not winning any popularity contests here this evening.
He's pretty popular at Wakefield, though. He signed a new 2-year deal earlier this month. This is only his 9th appearance of the year, though.
Okay, Tom. Out!
So, Davis on tackle number 1.
We're here, please, boys. Wait! Go.
Intense pressure from Wigan on this line for the last 5 minutes or so. Navarrete. Another solid enough run, backing his way to within 15 metres of the line. Powell to Luluai. Here is Williams, short ball to Bateman. Miller dropped off Bateman, and he came back, and he got him the second time. 17.5 minutes remaining. Gildart to Tompkins, and here's Williams. Williams gives it then to Greenwood, who hits it at pace. Wakefield stand firm again. And, well, Scott Griggs lifted the legs. They've done that a few times tonight, and this time they have paid the penalty.
I'm not sure whether that's in their tackling technique, Wakefield. What they do is pick one of the legs up, try and make the ball carrier more concerned with getting to ground. I've seen Anakin do it on a number of occasions.
And I've seen a yellow card brought out for similar incidents to that. He's very lucky, I think, to stay on the field.
Well, he might not, yes. Well, he's not had some information from the video referee about that.
Ooh, the red came out then for a moment. Well, Scott Griggs leaves the field, so for the second time tonight, Wakefield are down to 12 men. And it's a penalty to Wigan. They're only 3 points ahead.
Right there, please.
And I think they'll run this.
Right there, Sam. Blue line, box.
Well, last time they were down to 12 men, Wakefield survived and actually prospered. Here is Isa. This time the game is about another 25, 30 minutes older. And it depends how much fuel Wakefield have left as Greenwood drives in for the line again. He doesn't get this ball down. He's held up once more.
Joe's got the ball.
We'll go back 10 metres.
Well, again, he comes up with a strong charge, tries to spin out the tackle. There's 4 players around, and down to 12 men. You think that he'd try and up the speed of the game. Now Wigan move this Wakefield Trinity side around.
Luluai to Williams. It's Bateman. Bateman looking to get through them. But they're busy in defence tonight at Wakefield. That's 3 gone. Powell fires the pass to Luluai. He in turn gives it to Sargentson. He goes wide and forward to Morgan Escaray. And backslapping all round by Wakefield for that defensive effort again.
Well, he's made the right decision. Every time that he's jammed in Ben Jones-Bishop, he's forced Wigan into playing. Obviously, as a centre, you know that if the winger from the opposition comes in, you know that there's some space. You've got to get a clean ball away. And all night, he's been very good on that play. Every time that he makes the decision to come in and close the players down, it's been the right decision.
Penalty count is 10-3 in Wigan's favour.
Time's off. Come on, let's go.
So what's that? 7-6 is 42. 42 extra tackles they've had to face.
And the majority of those, like Angela said at half-time, they were all more or less in the first half, close to their own try line. I think they've got rid of that. They've been a bit more disciplined in the second half. And would they give the penalties away?
Well, I don't know if anyone has caught your eye yet as a possible man of the match. Here's a penalty that will help Wakefield. Man of the match, the voting will be open on the Our League app very shortly. We'll have 4 names for you to select from, and you can make your choice via the app on your mobile devices. And there are a few candidates on either side here tonight, actually. Some solid performances all round.
And the game's still to be won, isn't it?
Very much so. Hubie takes Wakefield to the halfway line. Remember, they're down to 12 men again for the second time tonight. Here's Arona, and he finds Miller. Miller takes the return from Ashurst. This is Tupu. Oh, they're impressive with 12 men.
They look good every time they move the ball.
Hampshire into centre field to Miller. Miller drops the ball off to Arona again. 20 metres out, 4 tackles gone. Randall is the dummy half. Gives it then to Crowther. Crowther to Miller. Miller gets it away. This is Batchelor. They've reached tackle number 5, Wakefield. Can they squeeze a repeat set out of this at the very least? Hampshire. Reese Lynn. Reese Lynn. And the referee has given Wigan a penalty for obstruction.
Well, he doesn't know what to do with the ball, Reese Lynn. He's going across the line. He runs behind his own players. I think the likes of Jacob Miller, Ryan Hampshire really did need to step up here, take control of the last play, just kick it through the defensive line.
Does he influence anybody there?
Well, he's in the defensive line. If you're thinking of a try-scoring situation, the player who's in the defensive line will lead to a try being disallowed. It's the same thing there. Wakefield have got a player in Wigan's defensive line.
So the pressure eases on Wigan for the time being. 13.5 to go, 3 points in it. Wakefield down to 12 men, up against it, but still very much in this match. If they can hang on here, when they get back to a full complement, they'll have around about, what, 7-8 minutes remaining. Anything can happen. This is Bateman. Oh, Bateman almost slipped the net again.
Good work from John Bateman. We haven't seen too much this evening from Sean O'Loughlin. I wonder whether Sean Wayne is tempted to stick his skipper onto Seaside home.
The acrobatics then from Jacob Miller, a handstand to get away from the ruck and out of the way. This is Luluai, gets it away once more to Williams. Williams stabs it into open space behind. Wigan on the chase here with Escaré. I think Escaré's got it down. I'm sure Escaré's got it down. It's all a question of whether he's onside or not on that run down the left-hand touchline.
Tackle 4. Feel like I'm going to try.
They have a try on the field, Stuart.
Make sure it's grounded properly, please.
Is the ball grounded properly? So they must be happy he was onside.
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with the onside. It's just the grounding. There's a big slide. I know his first contact with the ball is in the field of play. And we'll see the kick go through, and we'll see that he's well onside.
They're all onside, aren't they? All 4 to the left of the kicker. Right.
So it's all down to does he maintain possession as he slides forward. You see that the ball's short of the line, so he has to have possession of the ball. I've got a sight of the ball in that shot, but it looks like he's got the ball in possession. We'll probably see that the ball is grounded at that point, so provided he maintains possession all the way in, we know the ball's down there anyway. Eventually.
It just gets down eventually, doesn't it?
It does. So does he maintain possession? You can see he hasn't lost the ball, he hasn't knocked on. Eventually the ball gets down.
I know we're watching this slow motion, but momentum is not stopped here.
No, providing he keeps the momentum there and keeps going. We'll also look to see that Greenwood doesn't impede Jones Bishop or prevent him from tackling. He doesn't look like he does. So Jones Bishop is making a tackle, although the video referee will be concerned at Greenwood getting hold of Jones Bishop. He's got to decide if he prevents him from making a proper tackle. Well, given the tries given on the field, I think we'll probably stick with that.
Yeah, I think we've seen that the ball's on the ground, so this is going to be given. Morgan Escaré. Well, he was a late call-up last week, and 4 tries in 5 games for the Frenchman.
Well, good vision from George Williams. He knows that there's some space just over on the edge. Puts it into the path of the Frenchman after the Wigan side reshuffle. Morgan Escaré pushed out onto the left wing. There is a contest, there is a tussle, and when he gets hold of this ball, Escaré, he's focused, he's on keeping hold of it, and then when he sees and feels that the ball is short, he wriggles and thrusts forward.
I think you can look at Thomas Luluai again when he goes at the line. holding up those defensive players. Ryan Sutton goes through the line as a dummy runner. That holds up the Wakefield defenders. And then as soon as George Williams gets the ball, he knows that there's some space behind the defensive line for Morgan Escaré, the young Frenchman, to score the try.
Well, the lead is 7. And that's a super kick from Tompkins. The lead is 9. 19-10. Sam Tompkins, his goal kicking this season for Wigan has been priceless. Salford against Toronto from the qualifiers on Saturday, 3 o'clock, Sky Sports Arena. Salford leading the way in the qualifiers, and then Catalan against the Saints on Saturday evening, same place.
Inventive play from Wakefield, attempting to get the ball back. Ryan Hampshire shot the ball like a football. Long-range effort from the centre spot to the sideline. Sam Tompkins' first touch was good enough to keep it in play. Oh, dropped it again.
He has Davis. Wakefield are going to get the ball back from this scrum.
It's a big 5 minutes, isn't it, for Wakefield here now?
I wonder how long is remaining on the sin binning.
Tom Davis makes the mistake. There's 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left on the sin bin.
See Stewart with a stopwatch. There he is, Scott Griggs, just reflecting, waiting to come back.
You cannot fault the spirit and the effort of the Wakefield side. Chris Chester's not happy, he's fuming with something, whether it's the urgency of his players or the setup or what they've got potentially to come. They've showed bags of spirit.
Yes, they have. 9 points. It's not a winning lead, but it's almost for Wigan.
But what they have lost in attack is Scott Griggs around the back as the offload here.
It was a great offload too. The referee will bring it back though. I think as the ball slipped out, it called it exactly the same time.
Yeah. The ball was almost round the back of Craig Hubie there. Bring it back for the play of the ball. Hubie to play its second tackle.
Arona. Straight down the middle. Powell hanging on to him as he was knocked back 3 or 4 metres. There's Randall. Here is Hubie. Hubie to Miller. Good ball. Excellent defence from Wigan this time. It was Batchelor who was hunting the try. Randall. Here's Crowther. Miller again. Gets the ball away to Hampshire. Hampshire no look past at Tupu. Good work by Luluwai low down. Had a great game tonight, Thomas Luluwai. Ashurst. The first of the Wakefield men in the sin bin. Oh! Did that... Oh, it was 2 air shots then, I think. Now a third from Williams. He'll hack it downfield. It's a foot race. It's a foot race. How quick is Batchelor? He's quick enough.
Doesn't he do a decent job? James Batchelor. Heart was in his mouth then, thinking, I've got to get there first. George Williams.
And that was George Williams he held.
George Williams, yeah.
There's no slouch then, Batchelor. Back come Wakefield. Good game. Good game this.
It is a good game. You'd always expected Wakefield to come in and throw the ball around, a lot of movement, likes of this man. Whenever they get the ball, if they get into space, they'll score a try like he did in the first half from that intercept.
9 minutes remaining, 9 points the lead. Here are your man of the match candidates: Gildart and Powell of Wigan, Miller and Randall of Wakefield. You can now make your choice on the Our League app. Press all the necessary buttons, make your choice, and we will announce the winner of the Betfred man of the match at the end of the game. Randall under pressure from Clubb. He gets the ball away. It's the last one. Miller will hoist the kick, and the chase is on down this left-hand side. Tupu's after it. Gildart's there as well. Tompkins, they collide in mid-air. It's 6 to go for Wakefield. Ben Thaler deeming that that was a genuine attempt at the ball from the Wakefield man. So Wakefield have it back here with Miller. Miller then gives it to Hampshire. 6 to go. Pawley on the run. Greenwood hanging on to him. Hamlin up top.
Well, this is a big test now. Under pressure then. Sam Tompkins and Bill Tupu underneath.
Randall to Miller. Here is Ashurst. Good work again from Wigan in defence. They'll have to be big once more here for 4 more tackles. At least. Tupu to Miller. Looping past to Hubie in centre field. He then finds Hampshire. Hampshire gives it to Pawley. Good tackle by Sargentson. Helped out by Greenwood. 3 gone. Wakefield camped on the Wigan line. Reese Lynn. Trying to get him over the sideline. He gets to ground quickly. Jones Bishop. It's Hubie. Comes in centre field to Crowther. Crowther to Miller. Miller to Tupou. Oh, Tupou's lost it. Tupou drops the ball in the tackle, and the chance is gone.
Well, it's under pressure from Gildart. And it started on the wing, switched to centre. Look at it, buys enough time. That space is there. He had the space, he had the power, he had the speed at the start of the second half to score, but just couldn't get round Oliver Gildart, the reigning young player of the year.
Well, Scott Griggs comes back. Wakefield back to a full complement.
That's desperate defence from Wigan. He does enough, makes up the ground, Oliver Gildart. I talked about Sean O'Loughlin. He probably played about 28, 30 minutes. There's Oliver Gildart, but we haven't seen Ben Flower on the field since something like the 10th or 11th minute ball. If we can get the victory, the 9 points in front with a bit to go in this game, they'll have done it with less than the full quarter of players.
I think he's been very good, Eddie Ryan Sutton. He's had little battles, little duels all over the field, hasn't he?
He's not on the man of the match
No,
list.
he's not, but I think he's been very good.
Well, he's not either, Luluai, and I think he's been good. This
I
is
agree with you. I think Luluai has played a wonderful supporting role for some of those players.
Just shows you, doesn't it? This game's all about opinions, and the legend has got different opinions to us, and that's why he's a legend and we're not. Oh, that was touched by Wakefield. He did well. Then Johnston to stop the ball finding its way out, and it's with Griggs just off the sin bin, or out of the sin bin. Just over 5 to go. 9 points. Need a big effort from Wakefield. Jones Bishop can't get away from Greenwood, and he's been busy again tonight as well.
He's been very good defensively.
Oh, that was high though from him on Paulie. Looked like it anyway.
And the power, the speed, Wakefield need to show everything now what they've got.
Hubie, back he comes to Miller. There's Ashurst, there's Griggs, here's Johnston. He's back into centre field again. There's Johnson looking for the opening. It's arrived. Johnston through another tackle. The ball hits the deck, goes backwards. Play on. This is Reece Lynn. No, the referee will bring it back. And the referee says it went forward originally. Knock on against Wakefield. Head and feet to Wigan.
Isn't he a good player, Tom Johnston? It was very lateral from Wakefield. It looked easy to defend. Then he created that opportunity himself. The ball goes out forward. It's deemed, and the referee Ben Thaler, that it goes forward. And look at the footwork, the speed. As soon as he gets through, nice and composed, looking for his teammates, looking to link up. But just can't get it.
That's what fans want to pay to see from wingers. They don't necessarily want to see them drive the ball in the middle of the field, and the game needs to do all it can here to give players with the chance here. As Chris Chester disappointed there with another opportunity wasted, the 9 behind and less than 5 to go.
He's gone through it tonight, hasn't he, Chris Chester?
He has. Desperate to finish 5th. Might still.
His side have never actually been out of this game, and we're going to credit the spirit and the grit shown by Wakefield, but what about this Wigan side?
Oh, it's been tremendous defensively, and when they've had the opportunity, they've done what was needed up the other end.
And
but Wakefield have been down to 12 men for a quarter of the game.
But what Wigan have also done is back up from last week's big performance. Like mentally, it's really tough as a player to back up those performances and come up with against a team area to get a penalty. But they're up against the Wakefield side that are really dogged, they're determined. They're down to 12 men on 2 occasions, but still in the fight.
Interesting what you say about the Wigan effort against St Helens to back up mentally, physically, but you discounted Warrington's effort last Friday because there was no worries about mental fatigue or physical.
No, you're right,
after Wembley.
Well remembered,
Eddie. Wembley.
What I said last week.
I know what you said.
What I said last week was that they would absolutely, well and truly step up for that game, and they did.
But you said there would be no fatigue after Wembley, no mental or physical fatigue after Wembley.
Not when you get beat in a Challenge Cup final. Trust me, Eddie, I've been there, and you want to play in it.
OK, Luluai. I love to start rows. Here is Bateman.
I'm just surprised you remembered something from a week ago.
Somebody's keyed to him, don't worry about that.
No.
Can't remember where your glasses are half the time.
Well, there weren't much use in the first half. This is Greenwood. Greenwood to the line!
Oh, he's got it.
I think he's got that down, has he? He's got it down. I've heard Ben Taylor say he's got it down. Now he's talking to his touch judge. Everything okay? Try for Greenwood. Wigan have won the match. Wigan have won it 23-10. Kick to come. Joe Greenwood has had another big night for Wigan. Man of the match last week against the Saints. 2 tries in the win against Catalan. The week before Wembley, try here tonight that just seals and settles Wigan, and they establish themselves second in the Betfred Super League Super 8 table, and they are 4 off Saints.
Well, hasn't he been a big signing? Tony Clubb, when he goes down, lose that ball. And there's the penalty from the strip. Back chatting to the referee. Ben Trail has been very good in this game. And then look at this. Good defence, good offload. Joe Greenwood, when he gets the ball, he knows that he's got to create that space for himself. The leg drive that he's got, the power that he's got over on the left-hand side. It's good play from Thomas Lulawai to ride a tackle. Sam Powell looks up, spots his big back rower over there. Marches Ryan Hampshire, backfield. Lynn and Paulie couldn't stop him. Good try.
I can't make my mind up whether that's weak defence or I'm doing Joe Greenwood a disservice there. He had 3 players around him.
I think it's the latter.
He managed to wriggle his way out of that contest, pull the ball away and get it down, and Wakefield, who have stood up strong all evening in defence, just couldn't handle the former Saddleworth Ranger.
Tompkins, 3 from 4. This kick to make it 25-10. Matters not for the result because Wigan have won it. But don't tell that to Sam. He's kicked well throughout 2018. And with a minute and a half to go and a 15-point advantage, Wigan are home and host.
With probably 4 metres, he's got 3 players, 4 metres left to get to that try line. He's got 3 players, one of them being Paulie, who's no small human being himself, but Joe Greenwood, smart player, what an investment, what a signing he's been. Once he's got his match fitness up to the correct standard, he's done, knocked out another 80 minutes, or it looks like he will do this evening, so Wigan good value for that victory.
They are, and they are 4 points behind St Helens, who faced that tough trip to the Catalan Dragons. Here goes Johnston, though. Wakefield haven't finished their business yet. They have given Wigan a game, a really good game.
They always do, every time they take the field.
They're looking to finish with a little bit of a flourish here. Game's gone, they know that, but they want another try. That's Hampshire. As I say, Saints in France on Saturday evening, live on Sky Sports. They now cannot wrap up that League Leaders' Shield, even if they win. And if they lose, Wigan are 4 points behind. Miller, short ball, Paulie. He goes down on tackle number 4. Last half minute of the match. Grix held up just short. And the match-winning try scorer Greenwood was the guy underneath. Offside, Wigan on their own line. Gonna have one more go. One more go because only 4 seconds remaining. Here they come, and Hubie drops it and frustratingly bangs the ball out of the field of play. It's all over anyway, didn't matter. Craig Hubie's disappointed. Wakefield are disappointed. But the sin binnings after 32 minutes, Matty Ashurst, Scott Griggs after 62 minutes, meant Wakefield were battling away with 12 men for a quarter of the game. Wigan, though, they were 11-6 up at half-time, and they pushed on in the second half. A penalty goal from Tompkins early, followed by an Escalade try and the Joe Greenwood try, both of them converted by Sam Tompkins. 25-10, entertaining match, nothing to play for Wakefield. Don't tell them that at Bellevue. Wigan, they keep up this relentless chase on Saints at the top.
Well, Wigan keep up the pressure, and Wakefield still looking for that 5th spot finish. I mean, you look at the Wigan side, they gave it absolutely everything. They knew that they were going to be tested. The work ethic that Chris Chester's men have got, they really do work hard for each other. Maybe didn't get the quick play of the balls that they needed. Tom Johnston thought he was tremendous in this game. They didn't quite have the power. They had an awful lot of effort, but they just didn't quite have that possession. Probably the penalties, I'd say, Eddie, in the first 20 minutes that they gave away close to their own try line didn't really help them. But what they did, they had a lot of energy against the side that still pushing to try and finish first. If not first, they want to finish in that second place.
And I think that will just about wrap up second place for Wigan. I think they will get a home semi-final in the race to Old Trafford. Wakefield, but when you consider the spends of the two clubs, Wigan and Wakefield, remarkable effort that Wakefield took Wigan all the way to the finish line here tonight. Looked like a big win in the end, but it only tells half the story, that scoreline. Let's find out who is the Betfred man of the match. Well, there you go. He's been impressive all night, Tyler Randall. 80 minutes, Angela. And he's got the salver and the cash.
There you go, an 80-minute performance. Not got the win, but you've got the silver salver. A dogged and determined performance out there tonight.
Yeah, I was unfortunate to not to get away with the win, but we had two players sent off, which didn't help, but we hung in there and worked hard for each other. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough, and Wigan, they're a top team, and we just couldn't go to 80 with them tonight.
It tells an awful lot about the spirit in your camp, doesn't it, that you pulled out that performance tonight against a team like Wigan?
Yeah, I think that's that's just the Wakefield attitude. We're never going to give up. Like I said, we had two players sent off, and that's when we sort of improved as the game went along. But that's just how Wakefield are. We're never going to give up, especially against these top teams.
I think discipline's cost you, I suppose, for that game.
Yeah, definitely. Yardage penalties, things like that. You can't be letting Wigan get out of their end too easy. And in that first half, we were defending too much, and they were just too good.
We've got a cheque for you here, Taylor. It goes to the charity of your choice. Where's it going to go?
To a children's hospital, anywhere around Wakefield. So yeah, definitely a children's hospital.
Great thought. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
So we've got Ollie Gildart now. Your opposite number, and Ollie, you scored a try as well, got it started, and that was a real hard-fought win there.
Yeah, it was. They made it really tough for us, Wakefield. They're a great side, and tonight was just about getting the win, really.
It was great to get the win, and I suppose that patience that your coach called for at half-time really stood you in good stead in the second half.
Yeah, we did. We got some goods in the end there, but we was way off tonight. Our completion weren't good enough, and complete opposite from last week.
I was going to say, last week it took a lot out of your tank.
Yeah, maybe, but still, there's no excuse for dropping balls like that. So we've got to be better.
Got Warrington next week as well. That's going to be a toughie.
Yeah, it's always a tough game against Warrington, and we've got to be better than that tonight to get a win, though.
Thanks for talking to us, Ollie. Congratulations. And we've got the coach from Wakefield now. Wow, what a great performance your team put in there. But I suppose discipline and two penalties, or two sin bins, should I say, for tackle technique really cost you.
Yeah, we're real disciplined tonight. We're his own worst enemies. Lots to be proud of. The effort were fantastic, but you can't win a game with a 12-4 penalty count against you. And like you said, two sin binnings. Yeah, really bizarre game, I thought, tonight. It's 4 weeks on the bounce now where we've lost a player, and we need to be better.
Your style of play, though, it's really entertaining, but you've got to get over the line, you've got to get the points.
I don't think we were entertaining tonight. I thought we were a little bit off, but yeah, the way that we throw the ball about makes us exciting to watch. But yeah, discipline-wise, we were poor. We were really poor. But I thought there were a few bizarre calls as well out there tonight. But listen, credit to Wigan. They had a good side. They're playing very well, and to come here and be in with a shout with 10 minutes to go just shows how far we've come as a club. So listen, disappointed, but really pleased with the effort.
Thanks for your time, Chris.
Cheers, Angela. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Chris Chester, disappointed, ill-disciplined, he said, our own worst enemy. So following what he said was their best performance of the year last week in victory over Huddersfield, they have turned in a performance that gave them a chance of beating Wigan, but ultimately not good enough in the end. 25 points to 10. The Wigan Warriors remain unbeaten in the Betfred Super League Super 8. 4 from 4. All right, we can go to John Wells for his take on that second half and ultimately a game breaker, John.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, good second half. I thought it was an entertaining game, and Chris Chester rightly disappointed because I think his team offered enough to cause the Wigan Warriors a threat. I think the Wigan Warriors are a finals-ready team, certainly in defence, if not attack, which is probably still takes a little working on. Sam Tompkins' penalty on 44. Took it out to 13-6, and then this from Bill Tupou on the 56th minute reduced the arrears to just 3 points, and it took Morgan Escaray's effort with 12 minutes to go to really put the game to bed at 19 points to 10. That didn't stop the threats coming from Wakefield, though, did it? And ultimately, James Greenwood with the last score of the try, took that out to 25 points to 10. And a win that looked a little bit more convincing than it was actually on the scoreboard, Brian. Take you to the game breaker then. It's Morgan Escaré, but I think in the build-up to this, there's one man here who's already been assessing that defensive line. There's no fullback, no dead-set fullback because Scott Griggs is off. They've got Hampshire sat there, but he's too shallow. This has already been sussed out by Williams, and he knows that he's got that option to put the kick in. It's one thing to think about it, another thing to execute it. Great work from Morgan Escaré, and he does get the ball down in the end. Now, that was smart and calculated. I think we need to make more of this, because we've got some real showmen playing our game at the moment. We didn't make enough of that in the first half. That was outstanding, top-draw stuff from Ollie Gildart. And then this, the try of the game from Tom Johnston. We've got some showmen, we've got some athletes. Brian, what I will say to you in conclusion, and Wigan probably the favourites to win the game, and there was some interesting stuff in there tactically, but just how spectacular sometimes we forget this game can be.
Yes, absolutely, John. Thanks very much. Brilliant. Tom Johnson as well. A couple of breaks in that game were sensational. Right, OK, the Wigan Warriors now within 4 points of league leader St Helens, who play Catalan on Saturday. Wakefield remain in 6th spot, of course, out of contention now for the top 4. OK, what did the Wigan Warriors boss make of all of that? Sean Wayne standing by with Angela.
Sean, what did you make of that game?
Not the best game. I think it was two teams tired, emotional, short turnarounds, and I thought it showed. And they found their Achilles heel, with the just hands on the ball, slow rucks, the referee what allows it, and it killed us. So our attack wasn't great, but we found a way to win. We're 4-0 in these playoffs, and we just had to win the game. It's been an emotional week, obviously, and we just want to get the 2 points.
Coming off the emotion of the win against Saints as well last week and picking yourself up, you managed to do that and get the 2 points. That's the important part of this.
Yeah. You can probably find a more positive one than me, Angela. I mean, losing Lockers and Benny for the game at us, losing 2 middles, and you only got 2 people on the bench, and Morgan's one of them. So, it was an awkward win. It was an ugly win. It weren't the greatest game. It was very different to last week, and it was a slow ruck, and we had the referee what allowed that, and which is unfortunate.
And you'll be looking to lift again for next week for Warrington, who are a team desperate for points just like you.
Yeah, it'll be a great atmosphere next week, and yeah, we're looking forward to that one. But we need to improve. We need to find a way to play the ball quicker, and hopefully the referees allow that.
Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers, Angela.
Cheers, Sean.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, been a difficult week for Sean Wayne and the Wigan Warriors club, but no doubt he's guided his team through it emotionally, and he's guided them to a win tonight and 2 points in the Betfred Super League Super 8s. Phil Clark, your assessment of a game that Wigan needed to win more than Wakefield, but ultimately was competitive and very entertaining, I thought.
I thought the final scoreline was an accurate reflection of probably the distance between the two sides, and that difference was mainly because of the penalties that Wakefield conceded, with the coach has spoken about it, that they need to obviously eradicate that and give themselves a much better chance of winning. Eddie mentioned it as well, when you consider what they spend on their team in comparison to the Wigan squad, that's a remarkable achievement from them. But if you look at Wigan's success in these playoffs and this season, it's basically based on some fantastic defence. The defensive record in terms of points conceded hasn't been better since 2010. They're down to conceding about 15 points a match on average, and you've seen what they've done in the last couple of weeks here. If they can keep their opponents down to that number, they give themselves every chance of winning. It's been remarkable defence that's given them the chance and the platform to go on to win.
Wakefield doing very well with their spend, doing very well obviously to retain players as well. One of those, Tom Johnson, lit up the pitch here tonight. John referenced it there in his game breaker. I mean, scored a great try, intercept, replica of last week's against Huddersfield, but some of the breaks that he's made here, this is a superstar athlete we have here.
Well, I'm not interested in completion rates, I'm interested in the entertainment rate, and he provides the highest level whenever I watch him play. We probably need to think of a way that the game can make sure that he's given enough time and space, and players like him really, because that's what people want to watch. People moving quick with the ball, with evasion, beating players and trying to take them on the outside with that acceleration that he has is absolutely blistering. So I want to make sure we get chances like Oliver Gildart to score in the corner, Tom Johnson to take people on. He really does get people excited at the match.
All right, final word on the Wigan Warriors. In good shape now as they head towards the semis.
It's them or St Helens.
Yep. All right, OK, you've heard it from Phil Clark. We have got more rugby league coming up for you, of course, here on Sky Sports. Tomorrow we travel over to the KCOM Stadium. It is Hull FC who will need a response for their owner and for their coach. They take on the Castleford Tigers, who will be not giving up a chase on that second spot. 7:30 p.m. Sky Sports Arena for that. And then we've got a double header for you on Saturday. Game 1 is from the qualifiers. Salford, what a great run they're having so far. They take on the Toronto Wolfpack. 3 p.m. Sky Sports Arena for the AJ Bell Stadium. And then we will bring you the Catalan Dragons' first home match after their Wembley victory, taking on St Helens, who with a victory would really secure that league leader shield. 5:15. Sky Sports Arena for that one. 3 great games in prospect. Right, from the DW Stadium in what has been a very emotional week for the Wigan Warriors club. They claimed 2 points in the Betfred Super League Super 8s. Phil Clark, thank you very much for your company and for your company at home. We'll see you tomorrow in Hull.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.
Just looking to pass, earn the right to play, go forward.
Gale to Hardacre. Hardacre to Minikin. Wide to Reedham. 31 for the season.
Toyota CHR self-charging hybrid. No need to plug in.
To take this world by storm, first, you gotta earn respect. So, shout out to the top boys who say, hold my drink and watch this. And mad love to the dudes who do their own stunts. Because every man has gold in them.